Hi, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed season two. So,
Hmm.
to start out, Mercedes, can you talk about, Lexi and Steph, just kind of her, what her meeting her and her relationship and working with her?
I mean, the trailer gives us a little bit of a tease in that connection that's building between the two of them. Uh, Lexi is very work based and work focused, so it's interesting to see a new coworker kind of come in and throw her off her focus just a little bit, but also maybe refocus her and re-inspire her. It's that fine balance between like a distraction and a help. You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
But
I do.
definitely, it was a pleasure working with Sydney and getting to show a different side of Lexi, a more romantic side, I guess. I think that the viewers are going to appreciate it. They're gonna enjoy that.
Yeah, I did. It was good.
I know I did.
Yeah, I did, definitely did. So let's talk a bit about, Madison and sort of where that's headed this season. Talk,
Um,
for that.
so yeah, so last season, as we know, they kind of ended off on, not the best terms. But this season, we're taking a really good turn. Bodhi's just trying to be a good partner, because before anything else, you have to have a good friendship, and be a good partner to this child you just brought into the world and not bring your personal drama into that. So I think they've done a good job with keeping those things separate, just being there for the child and for each other as partners. And I'm hoping that it will, maybe develop into something, maybe going into season three. We don't know, but working with Amelia is always a pleasure. She's amazingly fun to work with and play with. The way we go at these scenes is always super fun, even if it's super serious at first, and always get more than reel it back, which is which is a lot of fun. So yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think that he's taking on a bit too much responsibility because of it, though, this season, that it is affecting his work maybe a bit?
I think in season one, I think Bodhi's answer to that would be yes, this is affecting my life. I could barely bother. But going into season two, I don't think, no, this isn't a load that he can't handle because um, piloting isn't his number one anymore. His number one is his son, and making sure his son has everything he needs. So the only reason Bodhi is working harder and trying to find other means to make more money for his family is because he wants to be the best father that he can be. It's not about being the best pilot anymore. He knows he can fly. Right now, it's about being the best father that he can and the best partner that he can, and kind of redeeming himself from those actions in season one.
Yeah, which really should be. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, Mercedes, obviously this part is going to be a spoiler, but the whole thing that happens with the guy coming into the plane, can you sort of talk to, I guess, how that affects her and her confidence and maybe about her, how she's not sure if this is for her, if she wants to move on to something different?
Mhm. That was it was a scary scene naturally, but it was one of my favorite to shoot for the series because in those moments, oh, how do I explain this? In those moments, we all women at least
Yeah.
have experienced a situation like that where something has made them uncomfortable, where they don't feel safe, but it's so nuanced that it's a challenge to sometimes articulate that. And it can be challenging to articulate that to a man. You could be as clear as you can be, but if he's never experienced that, sometimes you almost feel like people are gaslighting you,
Yeah.
and validating your experience. So I thought, it was important for Lexi to try to articulate it. And like, even though sometimes we might fail, you have to still be okay with yourself. Like, you have to know that you did your best, you tried, and we kind of see that it ends up being a big learning opportunity for not just Lexi, but for the entire airline.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think it's also a testament to that when you speak up, you know, that's the only way change can actually happen, because people aren't mind readers, and it might not happen right away, but it's better to start than to never start at all, you know, to try than to never start at all. So I'm really happy that she spoke up for herself, advocated, and we'll see. The audience will see the results that come out of that. Taking that,
I was happy when she spoke
you know,
up.
taking that agency. That's the word I'd like to have. You have to have agency in your life. You can't sit around and sit back and expect people to just make changes and make things happen. You got to step it up yourself too. So proud of Lexi. It took a while, but I'm proud of her.
You got there.
Now, Ace, talk a bit about, and this is, you know, up to you how much you want to say, but about Kingsley and sort of how him coming into the picture affects him and, you know, this season.
I think you know, at first it makes because he's in such a strong spot, you know, where he's like, okay, I'm a father, check. You know, I'm a pilot, check. I'm working as hard as I can to take care of this kid and to make sure all these things are check, check, check. You know, so he's super like on this journey straight, like, boom, I'm going to go do this. He got these goals. And then out of left field, you know, he gets this call, meets Kingsley. And I think what happens is he gets extremely vulnerable. We see Bodhi get extremely vulnerable for the first time. And he's had vulnerable moments before, but this is something that he can't control. Right. And I think Bodhi meeting Kingsley first puts him on his toes. And, you know, you see, I think any anger of, you know, a child finally meeting his biological father and wondering, like, you know, where have you been? Mm-hmm. But it also gives him a chance to learn. And even when he doesn't want to admit it, he's watching Kingsley do these things, these father figure things, and he can't help but soak that up, you know? So in season 1, he was a lot more strong-headed, but I think because of being a father, he's a softer human being in season 3, right? So even though he's trying to be like this tough father figure, like, no, you weren't there, he's also learning. He's also soaking this stuff up, and he can't help but, you know, want that father figure in his life, even if it's not how he wanted it, if that makes sense.
No, yeah. Right.
It's like this energy of nurturing.
Yeah.
You want to be nurtured and you want to nurture. I see that. I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Connection. So yeah, it was cool to see him get so vulnerable like that, because I'm like looking at this guy and I'm like, okay, he's super cocky, and then he's on this like, okay, he's accomplishing all these goals, not so cocky anymore. But yeah, I like that they threw that at him, and the audience thinks it's going to be his mom based off of season 1, right? So I feel like that's such a good twist, and you know, Kevin's great. So
I was going to say, I think your character is a lot more vulnerable, obviously, and with what happens, and also just with Steph too, which is nice to see.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's like a lot of, I mean, season 1, her bestie Novak, like that was her backbone. That was her support system, and so I see that Steph was really able. You know, she was a shoulder for me to lean on, someone for me to speak to. It's like, I'm so used to being everyone's support system. It was nice to be able to like find that solace in someone else for a change.
That makes sense. Now, snakes on a plane. I know, I'm guessing they're not real snakes. Not real snakes, but talk about sort of just filming that whole.
That was so much fun for me. I think when you step into these roles, and the Ace will agree, you want to really come across as a real medevac. Like, I want to look strong enough to lift a man, pull this, I want to, you know, but when it comes to the special effects, how do you practice that? How do you prepare for that? It is your imagination. Those tongs that I had, like, little spoiler here, but those tongs that I had, that was it. Was tongs. And there was actually a little green, like, little ball, little marker that I had to pick up. And so I had to, those are my acting chops, honey. I had to pretend I had that snake in my hand, even to move my arm. So you got to move your arm as if the snake is really moving, and you have to embody that whole experience. And also, it's like that fine balance between this is scary, this is new, so like the stakes, but also like I'm a professional, I have this, so a sense of control. You know what I mean?
You killed that scene too.
I was proud of myself with that snake.
You cannot hand tongs with a little green piece of tape. Someone say, "What is this? What are these tongs?" No, it's a snake.
It's a snake.
You know.
Venomous.
Well, I figured it was, I don't know, rubber or something. I mean, I didn't really think about it. I didn't, so it worked because I wasn't like, oh, that, looks fake or whatever. I thought it was.
We tried it with the rubber snake. I will say that.
And it
flipping through, fell through, and the floppiness would have been more challenging for the effects designer. So he decided to just CG in the whole thing. So that means that there was even more responsibility on me to sell it because I'm not working with nothing now.
Right. That makes sense. So
go Lexi.
Yeah. So do the both of you, I know I talked to some of the other cast last season. I didn't talk to you guys, but can you talk sort of about the, I guess, more technical side of it and sort of learning how to portray that? And is that difficult, being true to that for both of you?
I think the first season was a little bit more difficult because it was like something brand new. But we had Jamie with us, teaching us every step of the way on what to do, how to do, and look like a pilot. Because the thing is, you're not looking down to find switches. The one thing you don't want to do is be looking down to find switches, right? These pilots don't need to find switches. They know where the switches are. They know what to do in emergency. They know how to act, what they're, what kind of energy to put into it. They're relaxed. They're in control, And I feel like in season 1, it was a little bit more challenging, but season 2, personally, I feel like I picked up. I think both me and Mercedes, we had some. I think the hardest thing was those little spoiler was we have some emergency masks on at some point. And I think that was probably the hardest part because we had never done that. So that technicality was, a little difficult to maneuver around, but we did it. I feel like, I mean, the beautiful thing is I can turn to Mercedes, I can turn to, Thomas, I can turn to Jamie, and we can all help each other out and collaborate on how this is going to look great. What are you going to say? Where are you going to look? And I think that's what made it even more easy is we were all just kind of working so smoothly together.
Yeah. And we actually enjoy it. I feel like Ace and I, Thomas, like Praneet, everyone, we like studying and knowing all the details. So when they give us little videos to understand like the order of the switches, I love that. I soak that up. Now I feel like I'm a professional. I'm very tempted to get my pilot license because I know it. I know the terminology. I know the switch. I know the apparatus, what it does, all this stuff. So for us, it came natural almost.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And we look forward to chatting with you. Fingers crossed for season 3. So
Yep. Yes. Hopefully see you then. It was nice talking to you.
Yes. Chat soon.
Bye-bye.